The harsh nature and reality of Earth is nothing new for this planet, and humans and animals combined are not perfect. Every now and then there's been a crime that has appeared in certain places that have shook people to their cores, and it all starts over that one individual. These certain individuals that are on this list have been made infamous for their crimes, from rapists to straight up murder. This is the top 7 most infamous, evil people to ever live. Pekka Erik Albanum, aka the first YouTube serial killer. Pekka is a Finnish YouTuber who began uploading in 2007. Most of the time he uploads violent videos, as this was appropriate for YouTube back in the day. Pekka was known for also having a very strong dislike towards humanity, and on one fateful day he went into a school and shot a load of people. What's even more odd is that his backstory: he never got bullied when he was a kid, but the vast majority of people who knew him said that it was most likely his family that caused him to do what he did. Another YouTube killer, Jared Lee Loughnan, was born in Arizona and dropped out of high school in 2006. Ever since then his behaviour changed and he began showing hatred towards the American government, and on one particular day he went over to someone and shot them. He initially planned to shoot a woman known as Gabrielle Giffords, the target, but instead ended up injuring numerous other people, including one child. He was sentenced to life imprisonment without the possibility of parole and showed no remorse for his crimes. Believe it or not, despite being the youngest member in the group, it was also the leader and the one who carried out the most horrific crime in Australian history. The gang consists of the leader John Travers, Michael Murdoch and the Murphy brothers, all of which were serial killers. And on one fateful day, a young woman by the name of Anita Cobby was one of their victims. She was murdered in the most brutal way possible, so brutal that it outraged the public. Before the homicide happened, John had a lengthy history of criminal activity. He started off the way most serial killers start off. He would often torture birds and lambs before eating them, and there was even a report of him attacking a person. John, Michael and the Murphy brothers were found guilty of murder and are now sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. An interesting side note is that one of the convicts actually got attacked by the policeman and had now been held in a hospital for quite some time. But ironically, Anita's boyfriend was in the exact same hospital, and he said he never saw him whilst he was there, but he did state that if he did see him, he would have attacked him. This case happened not far from where I live, in a place called Holyhead. A guy called Peter Law was born in 1964 and worked in a garage all his life. He was also known as the Man in Black, and during his time he murdered 4 people and has now been held in a prison where he'll stay for the rest of his life. It's hard to believe that one of Britain's most infamous serial killers happened not far away from where I live, and I've been driving past that garage nearly enough my whole life, mate, on rare occasions. Raymond Frolander is a person that should not be admired. He was an 18-year-old babysitter and looked after an 11-year-old boy. And unknown to the father didn't realise that Raymond has been molesting the kid for months. On one particular day, the father caught Raymond in the act and beat him up. The father's intention was to murder Raymond. Unfortunately, his son stopped him from murdering him because the kid was traumatised enough. People were criticising the father for going way too rough on Raymond, but in my honest thoughts, I do think that Raymond deserved every punch that he got, because what he'd done was disgusting and horrifying, and no parent ever wants their kid getting touched like that. I do think that this pathetic, depraved cunt deserves to be locked up for life, no questions asked. Another Welsh murder case that happened all the way back in 2012. Believe it or not, this was the biggest search in UK history. 5-year-old April Jones was born in Machynlleth in North Wales, and she went missing around October 2012. People from all over the globe came around to North Wales to go and look for the girl. One of the eyewitnesses said she got in a car with a person with a left-hand drive vehicle. It turned out the person with the vehicle was a guy called Mark Britcher. Police raided his house and found his laptops, which contained indecent images of child porn. Mark was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. I mentioned before that most serial killers often become who they are by murdering animals and then drastically going on to doing it towards humans. But you have to bear in mind that not everyone who harms an animal has the audacity of becoming a serial killer, and Jessica Camilleri is one of those people. She became a murderer in her own unique way. She was born in 1993 and suffered from multiple mental disorders. As a result, she was teased and bullied all throughout school, and her parents noticed an anger building within the young girl, and she became a massive obsession with horror movies. Her mother Rita was described as kind with a heart of gold and put everyone before herself. Rita did everything she could to Jessica despite her being rude and obnoxious to her, and on the 20th of July 2019, Jessica did a truly unforgivable act. On that night, Rita had enough of Jessica's outbursts for the day and decided to phone up a mental institution. Jessica refused to go, and she instead knocked her mother to the ground, took her to the kitchen and stabbed her several times. When Jessica was arrested, her older sister said that Jessica had all the help she needed and all the help she refused. She only did it for attention. In my humble opinion, this has got to be one of the most disgusting and brutal murder cases I have ever heard of. And the fact that it happened in the presence of a 4-year-old kid, wow, that kid is going to be traumatized for life now, all thanks to this woman and her decisions. I do think that this sick, evil bitch deserves to be locked up for life, no questions asked. What she did was pure evil and selfish. Robert Thompson and John Venables. I am easily going to put this at number 1. This is the most disgusting and violent crime in UK history, and it shook the world by far. And it was also one of the first crime stories that ever, upsetted me. This one upsetted me more than any crime story I've ever heard of before. In February of 1993, two 10-year-old boys abducted a 2-year-old from his mother from a St John's shopping centre in Liverpool. They took him miles up to a train bridge and beated him up. 2 days later, 4 school children were playing on the exact same train bridge where they found James Bulger's mutilated body. It appeared that the kid was tortured, and the police ruled it out and thought that a bunch of adults have done it. But they were shocked when they found out that 10-year-old boys committed the crime. And this outraged the public. Rather than getting jailed for life, John and Robert were sentenced to juvenile prison for 8 years and were released in 2001. Unfortunately for John Venables, he was downloading all child porn on his phone and laptop and everything, and was arrested 3 times. It really does infuriate me that the government still tries to protect people like John Venables. People like him and Robert do not deserve to be living on this earth. I hope you've all enjoyed this video. If you have, let me know what your least favourite serial killer was in this video. I'd love to know.